Have you been wearing your mask? I'm sure you're tired of hearing it, but many people are still resistant to the idea of wearing a face covering in public. Even though many sources across the world have noted that wearing a mask helps stop the spread of COVID-19, including those like the CDC and the World Health Organization. Since the first indication of COVID, I've been making sure to stay updated on how to keep myself safe and, more importantly, keep others around me that might not be in such good health, keep them safe as well. Because wearing a mask when you're exposed to people outside of your family or your daily life can cut down your risk by 65%. I choose to wear one in public. Many countries have been successful in stopping the spread of COVID-19 by simply wearing masks and simple other techniques, quarantining for an acceptable period of time, etc. We have a few here that I found on endcoronavirus.org. It's a couple of charts of curves of other countries that are currently in the green in terms of beating COVID. And we know countries such as New Zealand have no trace of the virus because they simply cut off all ties. You have to quarantine, isolate yourself, which they did very well, very successfully. Other countries also like Finland, Iceland, and Hungary, all at a very safe level. But here in the US, we are the exact opposite. We've been known to take it slowly. We were too slow to take it seriously, opening up too soon, doing things like some states that still don't have mandatory face covering policies. For instance, Florida. Miami right now is considered by some to be the COVID epicenter of the world, but the governor has yet to speak out on implementing mandatory face masks in public places. Many other states as well in the US aren't doing so well. Florida had seen 77,000 cases roughly in the past 7 days alone, and states like North Carolina also have seen close to 90,000 cases in the last week. But then you go and look at states like Vermont, for instance. They're seeing about 50 cases per day. And I know it's a much lower population, but the percentage of the population that's being infected is much less. These states are being resistant on following guidelines for social distancing and wearing masks and keeping businesses in a safe setting. And the states that are following the guidelines well, doing everything they can, going above and beyond, are seeing better results. So why are we seeing these people not wanting to cooperate and do their part to help flatten the curve? And I think some people are seeing it more as themselves not wanting to wear it, not thinking in terms of that they need to be protecting others, more that they're thinking, oh, I'm fine, I don't need to protect myself, where it should be seen as an act of respect to other people that you're looking out for their health and well-being, as opposed to just thinking about yourself and thinking that, oh, I'm fine and I don't need it. But you never know who you could be hurting by doing that. And some people just think it's unnecessary for those who are sick and dying should wear it, and that you shouldn't have to. But once again, I think it's a selfish point of view to think that way, and that you should be looking out for others as much as yourself. And you never know what kind of positions or situations other people may be in. Because for most of us, we're probably all in good health, and you're not really at the biggest risk of having serious consequences if you do get it. So I think that we should be looking at it as helping out those that might have bigger consequences. So to reiterate, wearing a mask helps whether you know it or not, because oftentimes, I mean, you can't tell. When you're preventing something, it's hard to tell. There's no physical evidence of what you did, and so you may not even know it happened, but it was preventing something. And to close up here, for example, one thing I would like to say is one good way to look at it, the grocery store, for instance. The mask isn't so much for you as it is for the clerk who's working, checking everyone out, seeing hundreds of people a day, and that we need to think more of them and a little bit less about ourselves. Thanks.